It's just this sort of very tense, you know, a very kind of a tense phase of the race where we've got Caio Rural working on the front, and the gap, when the Caio Rural come to the front, the gap tends to come down.
Yeah, just over 4 kilometres left in this 86th edition of Boucles de l'Aune-Châteaulin, a race of 177.8 kilometres. We did 10 boucles or laps, and this is the final of the 8.5 kilometre laps. We had a breakaway of 9 riders initially, also with Alex Molenaar, the Caio Rural rider, who was second yesterday. But he got dropped after he dropped his chain, a mechanical, and now his team are fully committed to chase this group with Clément Venturini and Lander Looks, the 2 riders of Unibet Rosa Rockets, with Barnechea and Cepeda, 2 riders for Movistar. David Gaudu is out there for Groupama FDJ, Pierre Thierry for Total Energy, and Maxime Vézy for the CIC Pro Cycling Academy. 3.3 kilometres to go. The gap is down to 30 seconds. We're getting towards the River Aune, the name giver of this race, and then we take a left-hand turn for a steep wall towards the finish line. It is still 30 seconds. It's been swinging back and forth, Michael. Peloton or breakaway of peloton with 3 kilometres to go. My guess would now be back to the breakaway.
I would call it for the breakaway at this point, because that's 10 seconds a kilometre, so what's that, 120 watts more or something we need from the group behind to reel that in, and this group at the front are still working very consistently together. I think part of the equations we were running were when did this group start to break down and start to attack each other, but they have actually remained very cohesive all the way into this last 3 kilometres.
Caio Rural are going all in. Alex Molenaar, of course, the runner-up from yesterday, but they have other options in Eduard Prades and also in Fernando Barceló, but they might have left it just a little bit too late. This is a little bit of headwind along the river, as you indicated. That might be a difficult part for these riders.
It should help the group behind, but this is a decent-sized group is the thing. It's just the physics of how the headwind works, and the group out front, there are still 7 of them, and that's big enough that the swing is... The other thing, of course, that's happening back here is that Saint-Michel Preference Homes, because the Beneteau is dropped from the break, they're putting someone on the front to try to help the chase, but it's not coming down. It flicks to 25 seconds, but it's not coming down fast enough. It's all coming down to that last climb.
Exactly, and well, we saw a lot of Cofidis at the front of the bunch, but they lost a rider in a crash in Hugo Page. They don't have Brian Cocard. They only had 6 riders at the front, and they seem to have run out of riders. They did a lot of the chasing, but we don't see any Cofidis left at the front at this point. So it's up to Caio Rural at the moment. Groupama FDJ United, they have got riders up here with the likes of Bastien Tronchon, Tom Donnenweert, and to be quite honest with you, I wouldn't put too many eggs in the David Gaudu basket in a sprint with Venturini, Looks and John Barnechea, but it's going to be too little too late from the bunch.
Well, Groupama need to be prepared to do a lead out if this gets caught, so Groupama need to have numbers at the front of that group behind, because they need to be prepared to react if they catch these guys on the climb. This is it's 1.4 kilometres to go, and I'm thinking this is just a bit foreshortened with the telephoto lens. I still think it's these guys, but it's so close.
20-ish seconds, and there is an attack coming from the back by Pierre Thierry. He's going to have trouble making it in a sprint against these riders like Looks, Barnechea, and of course Venturini. So he's going to try. It's along the river, and then we take a left-hand turn onto the cobbles and a very steep climb towards the finish line here in Châteaulin. This is an all-or-nothing attack by Pierre Thierry, a new rider on the team, comes from the Arkea B&B team last year, where he raced with his brother. This is not good. He's not going to make it. It's very fortunate that Jefferson Cepeda is still here to help out John Barnechea, because they are going to catch him. Yep, they are going to catch him. This is that final corner. We are inside the final kilometre onto the cobbles. This is where Alex Molenaar dropped his chain, luckily for Pierre Thierry. That is not happening. We're inside the final kilometre. Jefferson Cepeda is doing everything to go and catch Pierre Thierry. And then we've got Looks, Venturini and Barnechea going for the sprint. Also, Madouas is still out there. Madouas, David Gaudu is still out there. Maxime Vézy, what a ride there by the third division rider. And Jordan Barnechea, he's looming high onto the wheel of Clément Venturini. Pierre Thierry is now caught. We've done the steepest part of the climb inside the final kilometre. Lander Looks is putting everything on the pedals for Clément Venturini. Mr. Consistent, 22 race days, 10 top 10s already, and a win in La Route Tourangelle. He is the leader in the FDJ United Series, but Barrenetxea, of course, he won that sprint yesterday. How long is Venturini going to leave it now? Yesterday he went way too early, 600 metres from the line, but now he stays on the wheel of London Lokes as long as he possibly can. We have a little bit of tailwind in the final. It's going to be Barrenetxea versus Venturini. Barrenetxea versus Venturini. Barrenetxea on a huge gear. What does Venturini still have to get past the big man from the Basque Country, who seems to be on his way for a double-header this weekend? Wins on Saturday and he wins on Sunday. John Barrenetxea. What a gear he was pushing there on that final 200 metres.
Yeah, Barrenetxea was punching a huge hole in the wind with Venturini. They kind of went at the same time, and Venturini just didn't have anything left to come round them, and we've got a sprint for 8th. Didn't see who won that, but well done them. That was a great sprint. I enjoyed that.